to welcome everybody to the HomeBrew Robotics Club here at Will Garage. I'd like to give a big round of applause for Will Garage for hosting us. Before I forget, okay, how many of you have filled out your raffle forms for getting a TurtleBot? That's a TurtleBot right there. How many of you have not? Right, that's the question I should have asked. Okay, we're going to pass these forms around. Be smart and spread them out. We're also going to send the pens back so you can fill them. You have to have these filled out before Steve Cousins gives his talk. After that, the raffle is closed. So let's start sending them back and filling them out. Okay? Okay. I'm going to introduce myself here. My name is Wayne Gramlich, and I am the president of the HomeBrew Robotics Club. I always start by asking how many people is this their first HomeBrew Robotics Club meeting? Excellent. Okay. So usually what I do is I tell people kind of what the agenda is. The agenda for tonight is we're going to start with what we call show and tell. So we're going to have various club members show their various robotic creations. Some are fully functional robots, and others are not so fully functional. Okay, but you know we like them all. Okay. After that, we will make sure that everybody has gotten their forms who wants to be in the TurtleBot raffle in. Now, usually when we raffle something off, you've got a year before it has to come back to the club and you can show it off. That's not going to be the case this time. We have to bring it the next month. If you don't show up, we're going to find you, and we're going to get it, and we're going to raffle it off to the next person in line. Okay? So the deal on this thing is, you got to bring it to the next meeting. Okay? If you can't make it to the next meeting, we'll give you a 1-month extension, but that's it. No more. Okay? Does everybody understand the rules on the TurtleBot raffle? Somebody asking a question back there? No. Okay.
So we're
here.
So while Steve is talking, Tully,
it's very directional.
Tully and I, the co-inventors of TurtleBot, will read your answers, and then after Steve is done talking, we'll hopefully announce the recipient.
Excellent. That was Nellie, who works here at Will Garage. Okay. Now, let's see. The other thing that's important is where's the restroom, and it is through that hallway to the left and then to the right. That's where the men's room is. I actually don't know.
Same place.
Same place. Okay. Good. Okay. So the agenda for tonight's meeting is we're going to start with show and tell. Then we're going to make sure all the forms are in for the raffle. And then Steve Cousins is going to give a short talk. And then we're going to do some tours of the facility here, and you're going to see a really awesome, at least one really awesome robot, the PR2. You'll probably see some other really good stuff too. So that's the basic agenda. And then after that, we sort of do show and tell. Random access, where we talk with one another. And around 10 o'clock, we get kicked out in the parking lot, and some of us will keep on talking for a little while, but at least we won't be, occupying things. Our record for parking lot conversation, I think, was 1:31 one time. I can't do that anymore. Okay. Are there any quick little questions? Okay, let's go on to start the show and tell. Now, people who are going to do show and tell, I need you to raise your hand so I can sort of gauge the amount of items that are going to be here. So raise your hand if you're going to show something. Oh, we've got to have more than that. Okay, so it looks like 5 or 6. Okay. Alan, are you ready? Alan Fetterman? So we're going to start off with our own Alan Fetterman. Take it away. You got to point the mic right in your mouth.
Okay. Hi. I've been working with Ross for a while,
And I actually did the tutorials. I don't understand them, but I did them. So let's see, Mike Ferguson and Adam Stambler have been working on something called Ross Serial, and they've also worked on the Ross Serial Arduino. So right now you can get an Arduino and you can get Ross, and you have to do a couple of steps before. First you have to get Ubuntu. It helps if you don't have an AMD 64 system because the libraries are slightly different. But Ubuntu install is really easy. Now they have a Windows installer that is really point and click. You have to learn Linux a little bit. You know, it helps if you aren't happy at the command line. But at any rate, once you do that and load Ross and load a couple of other things, you can get the sketches to work. So this is just the sketch copied right out of the tutorials. I'm going to have a servo working, and I put the servo on a motor so I can control the motor. So right now I have a motor at neutral, and I set what I told it to do. I told Ross to communicate with the Arduino and set a servo at 90 degrees, which is 0. Servos go from 0 to 180, but a PWM says 0 is full reverse. So you can see the PWM flash red for full reverse.
There's not much cable. And we're not having a battery problem this time, folks. That's a serious battery. I have to make sure it doesn't fall off. It will make a dent.
Now I'm telling it to go full forward.
Change direction.
And if I tell it to go back to 90,
Okay, stop.
neutral. So now I just have to write this program for the left motor and the right motor, add some sensors, and I can get an existing robot to work. So it's first step. Only took around, I say if you make no mistakes, it's only around 20 to 40 hours to get to that stage.
Tell your Arduino story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, those of you know I was crying my beer. I had an Android development kit, and I was working on it, I was making great progress, and then it was stolen from the back of my car. So I was, I was pretty upset, and I thought it was karma. I said, I'm never going to do Android. So I moved to Arduino and forgot all about Android development kit. And this afternoon I was over at Tech Shop, and I teach at Tech Shop, and sitting on the desk was a ADK for me. And I got a letter from a nice guy named Terry Haddock that said, "Dear Alan Fetterman, during the soldering course on 710, you mentioned that you had a Google ADK that was stolen from your vehicle. I feel this is an evil thing, but I can do something about it. Here is another accessory development kit from the Android team. Please let me know what cool things you're doing with it." So I'm going to start crying again. So.
Okay. I think, where's John?
Oh, I have a new toy.
You have a new toy. There you go.
John Erickson and John Carlini have gifted me a Mr. T for development. So I'll be developing on the Mr. T platform now. It's just radio control right now, but it's got a couple of Pitman motors here with some screw actuators, and the arms will go up and down. This is already modeled for a Kinect. So I think we're ready to go. I'm very excited. Say, by the way, did we have announcements? I have an announcement to make.
Make an announcement.
Summer is not over, okay? It is still summertime. And we're having our HBRC Challenge Phase 2 next month. Here's an opportunity to show what you've created. Folks, this stuff is really happening now. And we are the HomeBrew Robotics Club. That means home, we build things in the home, and we brew. We actually make stuff. So make something, create something. Next month, last month at Phase 1, we had approximately 30 robots. August is usually the lower month, but I want to challenge you to bring your robot, and let's have more than 30 robots so that we can beat the previous month's show. And again, you'll have another opportunity in October, but next month I'm going to be bugging you all month long on the mailing list. You need to be building stuff and bringing it next month to show. Dust off, there's a lot of robots that people didn't bring last month because, oh, you've already seen it or whatever, but this is about people and their robots and getting together and showing them off. And so blow off the dust, charge up the batteries. Let's get them out here next month and show them off and have a really great time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Let's see hands of people that still are going to give the demo. Okay. And Ted, you're going to go last. Okay. What? You have an announcement? Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
Hi, for those of you who know me from the mailing list, my name is Seal. Hi. And somebody asked me already, yes, I've been a partner to Tim, who you know better probably, for about 40 years now. So I'm on the board of directors for Western Region Robotics Forum, and the HomeBrew Robotics Club has been a really great source for judges. And I'm looking for judges for the competition October 21st and 22nd. It's Friday night and Saturday at Biggie High School competition. It is first for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology competition. So if you're interested in judging some high schools, their CAD design, their software, Tony's been a judge, Camp, and Alan has, I don't think Alan has. Alan could be interested. And then Rose and Michael have been judges, and then there's been some others as I remember, and my age, you forget these things. So if you're interested in judging, let Tim know. Send me an email, ceal@wrrf.org. Thanks.
Please keep reminding us to the list. Just, that's the way it works.
I will.
Okay. Who's next in the demos? Come on. I saw a bunch of hands, but I can't remember who all raised them. Please come up, sir. Who's going to be next? I'm getting the next hand up. We had more than just Bob and Ted. Come on.
I don't have anything to show, but I've got something to tell.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get something.
I need a minute.
You need a minute. Okay. Steve will have something.
Batteries will be dead later.
Well, we always have battery problems, but not with Alan's. Alan, that's the most awesome battery for a servo I have ever seen. It weighed a lot. Okay. And your name is?
Boris.
Boris.
Okay, Boris.
Yeah. So I made a robot. Well, I didn't make it, but I bought it. But I wrote the code for it. It follows a beam of light. So first thing to install it.
Okay, how about the battery? We're going to install the batteries. We have a long-term love-hate relationship with batteries in this club.
So the code was written in C plus, no, not C, just C. Okay, I need some, it won't work on white.
What do we know?
I'll be back. I'll go get it. I got it. Don't worry. I'll be back.
Okay, hold that spot. hold that spot. Melanie will take care of it. You were gonna the person who just raised his hand, and he was gonna give you. Yeah, come on up and say something. Yeah. No, you just point it out.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I turn it on. It says battery voltage and okay.
Oops.
Wait, it might work on mine. Wow.
Point it at the sensor.
That is actually that's better.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
You're next.
I don't have much to say. My name's Jay Freeman. I'm up here mainly because the meetings of this group I've been to, I felt a little lonely on account of what I'm doing and what hardware I'm running on. I thought I'd wait and see if there was anybody out there who was doing anything like what I was doing. I'm more a software type than a soldering iron and pliers type. My past robot experience has pretty much been using a scheme program on a Macintosh to drive an avatar in Second Life. And that lets me build a robot without ever having to go near a soldering iron or a pair of pliers, and I don't have battery problems. But I decided I'd try to bring my program into real life. Recently I bought a Parallax Stingray, which has a Parallax propeller for the microcontroller, which is a really neat microcontroller. It has 8 cores, in essence. And I hooked it up with a Wi-Fi connection using XP so that I can run software on my Macintosh and talk through the XP to the propeller and get it to do things. The goal is to do a simple robot development system with the brains on a Macintosh instead of on the bot. I don't think there are very many people running Macintoshes, and I didn't hear very many people talking about the propeller. I just thought I'd introduce myself as someone who's interested in doing that stuff. If anybody wants to talk about it later, come see me.
Very good. How many people have done propeller stuff here? Let's get a raise of hands. So look, see all those hands that went up? Okay. So please talk to. I've already lost your name.
Jay Freeman.
Jay, please talk to Jay after the meeting and tell him what you did with the propeller. So you know, because propeller's a neat chip.
Yes.
Okay. For a long time, most of the robots in the club were running on basic stamps, and then we moved on. Okay. Steve, you ready yet?
Yeah. As ready as better be.
Okay.
Batteries. Yeah, stop responding to the image on. Okay, so sorry, but let's right here
and hope it works. I think I might have broken the program. The choice of threaded Android programming. Okay, so this is the BeatBot. This is the last meeting. I had it kind of assembled, but it wasn't really working. And like 2 or 3 days later, there was a super happy dev house, and I took it to the dev house and I actually got it working. So it's kind of working over the cable. It's not working autonomously by itself. But what this is it's HomeBrew robot using some scrap plastic wheels, motor units off of a XV11, an Edo XV11 that I got from camp, some shape block, and a yo-yo board, which is an alternative to the ADK board. And what that's doing is, instead of using the ADK protocol, it's using the USB debug port. So this means that it will work with not just the most recent Android phones, but it'll work with phones as far back as Android 1.5. So let me see if I can launch the program here. There we go. And it's crashed again. So it's going around in circles. There we go. And I actually even have a little thumper working. So if...
Test one, two.
Okay, it's not hitting it quite hard enough to make a noise. But if you have like a glass or something, this is the cool thing was, maybe that'll do it. I don't know, maybe I just need a bigger mallet.
There you go. A bigger mallet, yes. Bigger dish.
So, so the next step is to get it talking to the accelerometer. Here we go.
There you go.
It's a little flat.
Yeah. So the next step is to get it talking to the accelerometer so that it can pick up somebody rapping on the table, because the ultimate idea here is that I would go like, and it would beat back at you. So it'll be like a little drum machine. But having played with it, so it works right now. I mean, I've got like basic functional control. Programming the yo-yo board was really, really simple. There is a little futzing you have to do with Android, because the control stuff has to run in a separate thread, because Android is single-threaded on the UI, so everything like little taps on the buttons and things like that, that all task. So if you know anything about threads, this is something you have to work with. Otherwise, it's an extra hurdle. But other than that, once you get inside just the loop, there is sort of an init call within the yo-yo thread, and then there is an implicit loop. So it's a lot like programming an Arduino. And kind of once you get in that space, it's just like doing it with Arduino. You have the loop that, the implicit loop that everything happens in, and you just open up your digital I/O pin, and you send some data down it, or you open up your PWM, and you send a pulse down it with the pulse time, and it's really, really simple. I got this, once I got over some initial hurdles, it took me maybe like an hour to get it to do the going back and forth stuff. So that's the current progress on the BeatBot.
And the motors came from the XP11s that Camp did. And we had a new record with that. He gave out like 10 sets of those, and like the next meeting, I think we had 3 robots using them. Okay, so that was a new record for stuff coming back. We always like to have our robots come back. Okay, last call before Bob and Ted. Whoever you are, 2 more. We've got Brandon and this gentleman back. We'll bring the gentleman back and then you, Brandon, okay? You need to do it. Does anybody need to do any setup? Does you need to do setup? Start coming on up. Oh, we got a balancer. Cool.
So my name is Chuck Taylor. This is Molly. Molly's been here before. Took her a while to finally balance. But what I want to show you today is the cool iPhone app to control Molly. And I got an app that will... Sure. So you point the phone in the direction you want the robot to go. And if you want it to tilt forward, you tilt the phone. If you want it to tilt back. But it was pretty much for fun, because it's not a good way to control the robot. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, Brandon, you're next.
Point out the mic right.
Hello. So this is my little Android phone-powered robot, and I showed it. I showed it last meeting, but I thought there might be some that didn't see it, so I'll show it here again. And basically, I'm using the 8K board, and I've written a little Android app, which gets an image from the camera. And then what I've done is basically turned the Android phone into a little CMU cam that can do swab tracking. So what I can do is I can put a target out here, and what I actually have to do, can you hold it? Or, let's see if this, not too far away, a little closer. And then I touch on it, and then what it does is it's tracking the orange. And when I press the button, then the motors will turn on. So it's actually seeing some orange chairs in the audience. So yeah, so maybe if I turn it this way. Here, I can. It sees it and starts heading towards it. So I can try tuning it a little better. There it goes. There we go. So the goal is to turn this into a tabletop challenge bot. So a table bot, exactly. So I'll have a colored block and put it on the table, and I'll find it. And it would be ideal if it also could see the edges. So I'll work on that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Last call before Bob and Ted. One more? Come on up.
Nice t-shirt.
We are pretty new here, first time here. We're actually from Latvia, and we wanted to show our micro-mouse robot, which will not do much here as we don't have the maze, but it managed to take the second place in recent Robo games.
Cool.
So this is the robot. It is based on the Atmega 128 processor. It uses 3 infrared sensors, one pointing forward and 2 pointing to the sides, 2 DC motors and a gyroscope. The maximum speed is about 1.5 meters per second. That's actually why I decided to show it off is because in the Robo games there are not much micro mouses there, so we wanted to promote this sport here too. This is actually our second year for this robot in the micro mouse contest, and we actually managed to finish, which we are proud of. But it's still yet. Very many things to do to get to the Japanese level. Probably you have the ones who have seen the videos, you know what I'm talking about. So if there is anybody interested in the micro mouse stuff, we would be happy to share our knowledge and meet them. Second thing, preparing for the next year's Robo games, we kind of got caught into match wars. So we are now, the project is now only in the starting stage, but I already have a mini mill at home, so we will be doing something. So if there's anybody involved in the match wars, probably we want to talk as well. So especially the weaponry.
You guys will be in town for next year?
Yes.
how many people are doing micro mouse stuff? Raise your hands. Okay, so now you've seen the people. Now, if you can, please try and contact, talk with this guy before the end of the meeting.
What's your name again? What was your name?
My name is Janis Zerve, and I live in Sunnyvale, and he's my colleague, Dietz.
Of your own?
Yes.
Okay. The club actually built a whole bunch of small mazes, and they've been spread out through the club. A lot of them have collected over at Ted's place because he's got space to store them. So, and Ted's in Sunnyvale as well. So, okay. If there's no more people, we're going to go let Ted or Bob come on up and show us their stuff, okay? And Bob and Ted have been members of the club for quite a while, and I'll let them take over.
So I promise next year at Robo Games I'll bring shims for the maze, so there won't be any of those weird gaps to go over. So Bob and I met here in the club about 10 years ago, and we started a company that designs consumer products, and but we still love robots. We do robots together all the time still. Anyway, recently some of the products that we've designed, we frequently run into a problem where we can never talk about all the cool stuff that we make, and nobody ever gets to see it. But recently we've been working with some of our customers where they've decided on some products to not actually ship the product, and we've been able to actually get those products back and start shopping them around to other people. And these are examples of two products that we've just recently gotten back, and we're starting to kind of shop them around at other places, but now we can show them off because they're ours. So that's kind of exciting. So this guy here is AmpBot. He's a two-wheeled self-balancing robot that plays your music and follows you around. He's basically, we're starting to look at him as kind of like a high-end cell phone accessory, because you can stream your music from your Android phone or your iPhone. We have a pretty cool Android app that can run him. You know, I'm going to put him in the next mode over. That's dance mode. So, yeah. So he has built-in music where you can stream your music to him. He has a built-in kickstand, obviously, so you can put it up and down. He can park himself, drive around. He rocks pretty good. He's got a 10-watt boombox in his chest. He dances. He does a lot of things. Well, it's kind of hard to see from the back. We were standing back there before, so come around later on and we'll show you him doing his deal. The most interesting part about the inside of the AmpBot is his drivetrain and his balancing electronic system cost less than $7 to make. So that's the thing that's interesting. And his motors, I think they cost 60 cents in volume. So 50 cents in volume. So that's kind of, yeah, go ahead.
I have to admit that when we were working with our client on this, we got it like this, and we had no input on the actual design of it. And they had these tiny little motors. If you look at that last gentleman's robot that balanced, that's kind of the motors we use and a little bit bigger ones. And we have all this mass and these big big wheels and whatnot. And I have to give Ted credit. It took a year, but he was able to take what they gave us and actually make a really good, stable robot. We'll drive him around later, and he spins and stuff. So a lot of credit to Ted and his software abilities. And you know, that's without the software, boy, we were nothing. So okay, so the next thing.
What was the volume? What was the volume there that you had on the sound?
What do you mean the volume?
What level was that volume?
Oh, about half, something like that. It's pretty powerful, yeah.
And we have an iPhone app too that runs it.
Yeah,
we'll
we have
show
an
it later.
Android app too. Yeah.
So just quickly, you know, one of the other things that we always look around in our club members, and I guess it was early this year, one of our club members who doesn't come very often, he's from Japan, And he comes up with some really cool ideas. And he had this thing that had popsicle stick. He's known for popsicle sticks and servos. He does a lot of cool things with those and hot glue. Well, he had this little thing that he put on his cell phone, and it got up and walked around. And Ted and I saw that, and we were working with one of our clients, and we thought, wow, that's a really good application. So,
Kazu, yeah.
Kazu, yeah. So we've taken that and we made a deal with him, and he's actually made some money, and if we get this to market, he'll make some licensing. But this is the product that we came up called Phone Dock, and I'll let Ted explain it to you.
Okay, if you've ever wanted your cell phone to have legs, well, now here it can. So the idea is you snap your phone into this little dock, and it gives your cell phone legs, and it turns it into an instantaneous robot so it can get up and walk around. And we made 2 different versions. There's a boy and a girl, and let's see, we'll get her going here. So the idea is, and it's kind of hard to see because it's all the way back there, but we'll also show her off a little later. But if I launch the little app, she gets going, and eventually she takes control over her legs, and then she gets up and starts walking around and looking for people to take pictures of and interact with. And you can see, I'll pick her up so you can actually see what she looks like. So there's a little face on the phone, and she has a little personality, and she walks around. I can sit there and I can jiggle her, and she gets dizzy. If I poke her in the eye, she gets upset. Yeah, you can tickle her on the tummy, and she gets all excited. So it's a really interesting, powerful thing to think of the fact that a cell phone, you've got this powerful computer inside of the phone, and all you've got to do is add a small amount of electronics to turn the phone into a really cool robot. And so what this idea was, you have this $40 base essentially that you can snap your phone into, and now you can do all kinds of cool robotic things. And suddenly you've got this great robot, and you're using your phone as the brains. So that's kind of the idea. It's not an original idea. We didn't have the idea. Google actually came up with the idea. They have a group that have been pursuing cloud robotics. So imagine the fact that your phone, if you think about your phone as being ubiquitously connected to the internet, because they all have 3G, 4G networking built in, you don't have this problem with, oh, where's the Wi-Fi hotspot to make my robot connect to the internet? It's just there. So, if you think about the idea that your robot can now connect to a cloud application and do all its heavy lifting in the cloud, that's a huge idea. And so what we've been kind of promoting, and we really drank the Kool-Aid in a big way, is that you can have very interesting front-end applications that run on the phone that do heavy lifting in the cloud, and that can make small robots like this very, very powerful. This robot, when it walks around, it does face recognition. It tries to find faces and then comes over and sees them and then interacts with them. And it takes pictures, and conceivably, we didn't do enough development on the software, but conceivably the robot could have its own Twitter feed. It could interact with other robots over social networks. There's all kinds of interesting, powerful things that could happen if you have a cell phone and a robot and it's ubiquitously connected to the internet. So
Skynet.
Yeah, it's Skynet. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, we'll have her around, and we'll show her off. People, you can see her a little later. It's really hard to tell because we're all the way up here. I was standing back there earlier. I couldn't see anything going up here. So
anyway, yeah,
pretty much it. Thanks.
So that concludes show and tell. Actually, I should say show and tell first days, because after I talk with the cousins, they're going to show people facilities here. So now's your last chance to put your raffle form in for the Turtlebot. So is there anybody who has not yet? Okay. Get them up here, and let's get them stuffed in there, because after now, your chances are over.